Good morning, students. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. I'm Nithika, your assistant teacher on the behalf of Paramount Public School. Today I'm going to explain you chapter 12. The chapter name is India's Struggle for Freedom from 1858 up to 1919. Mean on this इन दिस कंसेप्ट कि इंडियन पीपल ने कैसे स्ट्रगल किया आज़ादी के लिए फॉर फ्रीडम. इट इज़ द टाइम फ्रॉम 1858 अप टू 1919. सो कम ऑन द फर्स्ट कंसेप्ट. The revolt of 1857 failed, but resentment against British rules continues to fester. The revolt of 1857 failed. वो जो रिवॉल्ट था वो फेल हो चुका था, बट रिसेंटमेंट मीन नाराज़गी अगेंस्ट ब्रिटिश रूल कंटिन्यू टू फेस्टर ग्रो डे बाय डे. In different part of the country, people protested and agitated mean pareshan, against the injustice they faced under the British. Because on that time we are under the British, that's way the people agitated, परेशान थे against the injustice, जो अन्याय हो रहा था that they face under the British. These protests and agitation mean अशांति were evidence of growing sense of nationalism mean राष्ट्रवाद in the country. These protests and agitation were the evidence of growing sense of nationalism in the country. As we have learned in the previous chapter that nationalism is a feeling. What is nationalism? Nationalism is a feeling of intense love and pride for one's country where you live, like we live in India. That's way the intense love and pride for one's country. It also refers to the desire mean ichha for freedom felt by people under foreign domination. We are under the British, that's way on that time they always dominate us. As in the case of pre-independent India, why they talk about the pre-independence India? Because we are under the British, that's way we are on that time we are not independent, that's way they recognize with pre-independent India. Nationalism in India gathers strength मतलब unity लाना और लोगों को मजबूत करना in the second half of the 19th century. Next is factor. Which one factor? The factor that leads to rise of nationalism को बढ़ावा देने वाले. The works of scholars like William Jones and Max Muller evoke a feeling of pride among the Indian for India's glorious past. These two work, the work of scholars evoke a feeling of pride की feeling दिलाई हमें, because Indians for India's glorious past. Which one past? Because in previous India is recognized with सोने की चिड़िया. The economic policy that are related to money. The economic policy of the British ruined mean खत्म होगी. Indian agriculture and industry. Indian की agriculture और industry on that time खत्म हो चुकी थी. It led to frequent famines mean अकाल पड़ गया था. All this suffering increased the anger to the people against the British. These sufferings on that time because of ruined Indian agriculture and industries. This suffering increased the anger of the people against the British. After that, Western education exposed on that time. Western education exposed Indian to idea of democracy. Democracy mean for the people, to the people, by the people, and nationalism and inspired them. On that time, Western education inspired them for democracy and nationalism. After that, Ravindranath Tagore, Subramanya Bharati and Rama Prasad Bismil gave a boost. Boost mean शेखी देना, किसी चीज़ को बढ़ावा देना. To growth of nationalism through their patriotic writings, मतलब देशभक्ति वाली writings. They wrote in regional mean क्षेत्रीय भाषा. Where you live, like we live in Punjabi, तो most probably people know about Punjabi. Same with regional language, ताकि लोग उसको समझ सकें. And were therefore able to reach as far wider audience, मतलब सभी लोगों को वो चीज़ पहुंच सके. After that, the introduction of the railway. On that time, the introduction of the railway, the telegram and the postal system increased communication among Indian. Communication mean whenever we talk with each other, we discuss something with each other through phone, through messages, this kind of things. English as a common language. On that time, English is a common language, help further. Revolutionary idea, Krantikari idea, therefore spread faster across the country. On that time, this idea spread faster across the country. A series of acts. On that time, some acts are passed. A series of acts, मतलब day by day something is going on. a series of acts passed by the British government in the 19th century discriminating, then again भेदभाव किया गया against the Indians and angered them further, दोबारा से उनको नाराज कर दिया गया. After that the Indian Arms Act 1878 forbade Indians for possessing arms. The Vernacular Press Act 1878 forbade प्रोवोकेटिव मतलब भड़काऊ राइटिंग है रीजनल लैंग्वेज में. वर्नाकुलर मीन रीजनल लैंग्वेज में भड़काऊ राइटिंग लिखी गई थी अगेंस्ट द गवर्नमेंट इन वर्नाकुलर रीजनल लैंग्वेज. रीजनल लैंग्वेज में डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट को बोला जा रहा था. द एल्बर्ट विल purposed the Europeans be tried by Indian judges too. On that time they proposed the Europeans and Indian judges also tried to propose them. When the Europeans protested against this, जब उन्होंने इस बिल को नेग्लेक्ट कर दिया, the bill was amended before being passed in 1884. This discrimination against angered the Indians further. In 1878, again in 1878, the age of appearing for the civil service mean government service examination was reduced from 21 to 18. उनकी एज जो थी 21 से 18 कर दी गई. This made it even more difficult. This is the situation that is very difficult for the Indian to compete with the British. British के साथ compete करना on that time बहुत मुश्किल हो गया था. After that the Indian National Congress was founded in 1885. 1885 में इसकी फाउंडेशन हुई as a platform to address the issues in which they discussed their issues. Indian had with the British government on that time. British government के साथ थे Indian people, in which Indian people कौन कौन से थे? Indian lords, Indian teachers, Indian journalists, businessmen and landlords took an active part in setting up the Congress. So main head is Alan Octavian Hume, a retired British civil servant, was one of the founder of the Congress. Alan Octavian Hume was a retired British servant, was one of the founder of the Congress. The first session of Congress was held in December 1885. First meeting जो हुई that was in December 1885 and Umesh Chandra Banerjee was elected as its president. Umesh Chandra Banerjee जो थे वो इसके president बने. Now come on the next concept, that is objective of the Indian National Congress. So what are the objective of the Indian National Congress? In the beginning the aims of the Congress were moderate. In the starting the aims of the Congress were moderating को अपनाया था उन्होंने. They wanted to make the British grant wider power to the state legislative council मीन विधानसभा जो पावर थी वो विधानसभा की दे दी थी. एंड प्रोवाइड मोर ट्रेनिंग, बहुत ज़्यादा मात्रा में ट्रेनिंग दी जा रही थी इन सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट मीन अपनी गवर्नमेंट को चलाना. Pay more attention on that time, they pay more attention to the development of agriculture. As you know about that कि in India agriculture is the main source, so basically they pay more attention to the development of the agriculture and modern industries. Modern industries किस तरीके की इंडस्ट्रीज होती हैं जहाँ पे सारी चीज़ें बनती हैं. As so to reduce poverty and unemployment, ताकि गरीबी और बेरोजगारी को ख़त्म किया जा सके. Allow more Indians into the higher post of the administrative service. Allow more Indian मतलब बहुत से भारतीयों को उनको अथॉरिटी मिली थी to become the administrative who take care all the things about all the things. Grant greater freedom to the press को पूरी फ्रीडम थी ऑन दैट टाइम. एंड अलो इंडियंस देयर सिविल राइट्स उनको पूरे दे दिए गए थे. विच वन सिविल राइट कि जो भी किसी भी चीज़ में अगर उन्होंने पार्टिसिपेट करना है तो वो कर सकते हैं. दिस काइंड ऑफ सिविल राइट्स. दे ऑल्सो वॉन्टेड टू रेज पब्लिक कॉन्सिक्वेंस मतलब जो कॉन्सिक्वेंस उस समय हो रहे थे अगेंस्ट ब्रिटिश के लिए. ब्रिटिश इम्पेरियलिज्म मीन समाज में, ब्रिटिश के होते हुए समाज में. एंड एंगेज इंडियन पीपल को जोड़ा किसमें? इंडियन मासेस इन द नेशनल स्ट्रगल, जो पूरा देश का स्ट्रगल हो रहा था किसके लिए? फॉर इंडिपेंडेंस. द मॉडरेट एंड द रेडिकल In the early years, the leaders of the Congress only aimed at small gain. Small gain mean उनको कुछ लाभ चाहिए था on that time. In the early years, they demanded equal position. On that time, they want equal position of responsibility for Indian in the government. In the government, they want equal responsibility. Like British people, they believed that they could convince. On that time, they think that they convince, मतलब उनको मना लेंगे the British through रेसोल्यूशन मतलब प्रस्ताव रखकर मीटिंग करके एंड परसुएशन मीन प्रोत्साहित करके बिकॉज ऑफ द पैसिव अप्रोच बिकॉज विच वन पैसिव अप्रोच रेसोल्यूशन मीटिंग एंड परसुएशन अप्रोच द लीडर्स कम टू बी नोन एज दैट्स वे द लीडर्स आर कम टू बी नोन एज मॉडरेट फिरोजा शाह मेहता गोपाल कृष्ण गोखले एंड सुरेंद्र नाथ बैनर्जी वर द इंपॉर्टेंट मॉडरेट लीडर्स दैट वर द इंपॉर्टेंट मॉडरेट लीडर्स ऑन दैट टाइम